That means that beneath this town, the 1,000-year-old ruins remain intact. And that door's been sealed shut for 1,000 years by the crystal stars. In order to open that seal, we have to muster the power of all the crystal stars. But the question is, why did they seal the legendary treasure away to begin with? I mean, were they just trying to keep it from being stolen or what? No, that's not. What? That's not what? I don't know! Sheesh, Professor. I'm sorry, so sorry. I know that the treasure was sealed away around the time the town was destroyed, but the problem is, no one's even sure what it was that caused the town's demise. All that's written is this: darkness stole the sky and the cataclysm rained down. I must research this more, assuming we'll just make well, you know the saying. No, I don't, but whatever. How about this next crystal star, then? It's like it's floating on the magical map. Very interesting. Perhaps it's pointing to the floating town of Blitzville. There's a stunning arena there where great warriors engage in furious battles. Ostensibly, families go there on vacation to lounge and enjoy the fights, but behind the scenes, the richest people in the world wager on the bouts. It's like floating? Well, how are we supposed to get there then? A special blimp flies there. It departs from Rogueport several times a day. The problem is getting seat. The only way to get a ticket is through certain channels. What? What channels? Stop being mysterious. How do we get seats on this ship? I don't know, but I guess we don't have much choice. Word on the street is all tickets goes through Don Pianta on the west side. Head west from Rogueport's main plaza and you'll reach the west side of town. That part of town is under the control of Don Pianta, the Pianta Syndicate head. Apparently, Don Pianta makes pretty regular jaunts over to Glitzford. So no problem. We just go meet this Don Pianta guy and we'll be on our way. May sound easy, but he's a syndicate boss, folks. The rumors about him are scary. And Don Pianta is a recluse. Just getting an audience with him will be difficult. Anyway, welcome back to Waterpark Rangers. Let's play Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door. The next part of our quest has become apparent. Or at least the direction there. But before that, we have a little interlude of sorts, rather like between chapters 1 and 2. Before we get into chapter 3, we have a few things that we're going to do to get there. Starting with this Don Pianta quest. You want something, chump? This is a fortress of the Robble Thieves. You lost? What business brings a chump like you to a place like this? Say it ain't vacation. What's that? You want to meet that lying, cheating, stealing, no-good jokey for brains Don Pianta? Real thieves like us end up poor as dirt, never catching a break because of that guy. Did you come here knowing all that? And you know that scumbag demands protection money from us too, yeah? You know all that, and you still want us to tell you how you can meet that crumb? Fine, Mr. Insensitive Jerk. But it'll cost you 64 coins, and ain't no budget on the price. Not a single coin. Inside info is pricey, them's the breaks. Okay, I'll pay. You'll pay? Really? Yeah, you heard me. Yes, I mean, good call. You're a shrewd businessman. 64 coins on the nose. Okay, then clean those ears out and listen here. There's a parlor in the west part of town that's run by that worm Don Pianta. Go to the store next to the parlor. Buy a dried shroom and a dizzy dial. Make sure you buy them in that order: dried shroom, dizzy dial. You got that? You do that and the shopkeeper's gonna ask you what your favorite color is. You answer, yellow. You got that? Not green, not blue, yellow. You hear me? See, yellow is the password for getting into Don's scumbag's oh-so-comfy office. You got all that? Yes I do. Alright, actually that was a really funny reference to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, with not green, not blue, yellow. What he's talking about is, I think that's what the favorite color is towards the end of the movie. Actually, there's been a lot of funny jokes just in this episode that are kind of concealed. Anyway, enough about that. We have a quest from the message board that we're actually going to be doing for Pine Tea Jr. This is one of the few that we're actually taking on because there's a worthwhile reward. And it's better just to do it now, that way you learn about a part of the game earlier rather than later. Well, first off, it looks like we have some kind of mail. Oh, that's just from Koopook after we found him. Yeah, I'm not going to be checking my mail too often. But before we go on and take on that quest, I highly recommend you come here. Definitely before starting the new chapter. This is what the Shine Sprites are for. Once you have 3 Shine Sprites, you can power up one of Mario's partners. They don't level up the same way Mario does. So now we're going to level up, or rather upgrade, Goombella, and you'll see exactly what this entails. You bring 3 Shine Sprites, and you'll be allowed to upgrade any party member of your choice. We've gathered 7, so we can upgrade 2 of our party members. Guess which one we aren't going to upgrade? Anyway, Goombella's been powered up, so now she's going to have more HP. Yeah, 20 now instead of 10. Big upgrade there. In addition to more attack power, she'll have +1 attack. And she also gets a new move, so that's the general thing that happens with each character. They'll have an upgrade in HP, their attack power will rise by 1, and I believe, yeah, they'll gain an extra move. That's what you get with Shine Sprites. You can only do it once per each person, at least so far. You'll see that if you try to do it again, there will be a little gray mark there saying, nope, you can't. Anyway, I was just cutting ahead to see if we could check out if there were any new badges to pick up from the shop. As it turns out, there weren't, so I just got unlucky there. However, there is a star piece right there, which is hidden, and if you use the super boots, you can knock it out of the ground right there. And this merchant actually occasionally has some very good things to buy. Let's see. I don't really think any of these are going to help us out too. Right now, Double Pain is a really weird badge, actually, because you'll take double damage. I don't see why anyone would want that unless they were going for 100%, just having all the badges. It's just not a very good item to have around. Anyway, this is the west side of town. We have been in here before, but this is a part of the game where you finally have to go visit it in order to get to Chapter 3. So you will have to have done the contact lens thing by this point. If you have to initiate the contact lens thing now, I think it might take a little bit longer for them to have it ready for you. So it's just better to get that quest done earlier. It's just annoying to have to do it later. So I was just dropping by there to grab another one of those star pieces. And with that out of the way, we're going to drop down into the sewers. I really love the first time that I figured out you could drop below that grate. That was really cool. And we're going to head over to the underground area of Rogueport, the underground town. It's kind of neat, this shady area where all the vagabonds hang out. There's actually nothing with that little fountain in the center. I don't believe that actually leads to any puzzles or anything in the game. It always looks kind of suspicious to me. That guy there who's standing right there, his name's like Old Wonky or something. Occasionally, no, actually if you talk to him at any point, he'll offer you advice about random things in the game. But I'm not going to. He's just got in my way. This is being a particularly annoying star piece to get because Koops apparently is also standing on the ground. There we go, I finally knocked him out. So yes, Wonky will have different bits of tidbits of advice available throughout the game. So if you ever want to just spend some extra money to learn some cool things, go to Wonky. And yeah, you'll just learn more trivia facts about the game. They're actually pretty... He actually talks about some pretty interesting secrets, but they're kind of obscure. And so I definitely can't recite them myself, for example. I guess you just have to go to that part of the game and talk to them to see what I mean. And I would not bother getting the little item that's in the items that are in the blocks down here. They're slow healing items that I don't believe you can sell or drop. So they're just going to clog your inventory until you use them, so I'm just not going to pick them up. Anyway, this is another entrance to the Pit of 100 Trials, which we're not going to go in yet because we need to get some star pieces traded in, so I'm going to cut ahead to that right now. I figured I'd show you that route, that way you know your way around the sewers a little bit better. Typically I'm going to be cutting ahead, but I figured that would do just to show you the general passage through this place. Anyway, Flower Saver is going to be a very useful badge for us, so yes, we are going to purchase it. And that'll be it for our purchases with Dazzle right now. We're going to need to accumulate a lot more star pieces before we can pick up any other badges from that guy. Oh yeah, there we go. We actually have quite a lot of BP available to use. So Flower Saver P is going to be useful for just reducing the amount that our partners have to spend on FP. And later on, yeah, we should try and equip it to Mario. But for now, we're going to have to wait. Yeah, we just don't have the BP available for it now. So I've returned back to the area of the 1,000-year door. We're going to fly back across to get into that room where the Pit of 100 Trials entrance is. There was a little toad in there who wasn't there before. He's actually Pine Tea Jr., the person whose quest we accepted earlier. And yeah, we're going to be doing his quest now, so talk to him first. You took on my trouble? Oh, thank the stars, this is just terrible. My dad went into the pit of 100 trials and he never came out. He lost his job and said the only way to support us was the pit's treasure. But I don't need treasure, I just want my dad back. Please help him. So that's what we gotta do, we're going in there. Now this quest will only take you up a little bit of the ways through this dungeon. You're going to encounter some much stronger foes in here. That's why I recommend that you have your partners upgraded using those shine sprites. If you do, you'll have a much easier time. Especially, yeah, you can come here even before Chapter 1's over. Technically, as soon as you have Hooktail's, the ability from Hooktail's castle that lets you sneak through fences, you can come here. But the enemies that you find here eventually get so powerful that it's pointless to try fighting them at such a low level. We're not going to be going much further through than, I think we're only going around to the 20th floor. It's the Pit of 100 Trials because this is actually a 100-floor dungeon. And yes, it is possible to complete. It's crazy hard though, seeing as you can't save. We're not going to get into all the specifics of the Pit of 100 Trials. This is all I'm going to advise. There's a terrific item around 450 that'll double the amount of items you can carry. Some people might recommend that you pick it up before you fight the final boss. I guess I could see where they're coming with that, but honestly, we're only going to be going up to 420 just for this side quest. That way we can get the useful reward from it. Or rather, the reward that I just at least want to show you. So the only new enemy that we've encountered so far, really, are those, Gloombas, which are the stronger Goombas. And they mostly just have higher attack and HP. And once you have upgraded Koops, you can just slice through all these enemies quite easily. So we're going to be skipping through a few floors, because most of them are just repetitive enemies. And once we encounter something new, I'll show you that. So that's the general pattern of this place, just so you understand it. Alright, now we've cut ahead to 410 after a lot of repetitive battles with just those kinds of enemies. Sleepy Stomp, that's a badge we're never going to be using. Also, the salesman guy occasionally appears. His prices are a little bit steeper the further down you go. Thunder Rage is a great item to have, though, because this is an item that pierces almost all defense, except in the most rare of circumstances. And it strikes for a lot of damage for every single target. So, great item. So we're just going to pick that up. And hit that block to open the way down to Section 2 of the 10-part dungeon. Starting off on, yeah, I think this is floor 11 or 12, something like that. So that there is a Paragloomba. Just like the Gloomba, only the Paragoomba version. Pretty easy to figure out what they're going for. And also, I could be using that attack, like I said, that does a little bit more damage with the Super Boots, where Mario kind of does like a butt stop in midair, but it also makes it harder to do the stylish commands. And personally, I just prefer to use the stylish commands to rack up more star points. Yeah, that's what those are, star points, right? No, star points are the experience points. There has to be something, there's like a special term for it. Whatever fills your gauge that lets you use those special Crystal Star abilities, that's what I need to say. Because the most useful one that you're going to be using in here is Sweet Treat. Occasionally just to replenish your HP and FP for everyone in your immediate party, like in the field. That's why Quick Change is good to have. Just in case that you have a really weak party member and you want to heal them up, but don't actually want to fight with them, you can heal them with Mario's Sweet Treat, and then switch to someone who's actually capable of attacking. Now the Boggly Woods enemies are actually appearing down on these floors. The pattern that it roughly follows, I suppose, is that each set of 10 floors roughly corresponds to, like, a chapter, so this is sort of like a Chapter 2 set of floors, but these are really loose guidelines. You'll see that it's spread out a little bit more complex. It's a little bit more complicated than that the further down you go. It's sort of like in Wind Waker's Savage Labyrinth, how each set of 10 floors is basically like based off a dungeon, like Dragon Roost Cavern, Forbidden Woods, Tower of Gods, and then sort of the two temples, but it was sort of harder to measure at that point. Anyway, new enemies here are Pokies. These things are spiky to touch, so you can't jump on them, but hammers and other blunt attacks will work just fine. They're a little bit irritating, but it seems like that with some of their attacks that use projectiles, they actually use up the lengths of their body, but I'm not sure if that actually reduces their HP or not. They're kind of a curious enemy. They're not very common at all. And they're sort of frustrating to guard against. But actually, yeah, come to think of it, Koops' upgraded form I don't think he ever gets more defense. I think that defense always stays 1 for him. I think he's also the only party member who just has 1 defense. Nobody else has any semblance of defense, and a lot of enemies don't have defense either. Until later, there are some later foes that just start racking up defense just to be annoying. That was a nice bit of money from that battle, though. But we're going to be cutting ahead to the rest of the repetitive fights here, so catch you later. Alright, I finished up the floor, finally on, like, floor 17, I think, where, Pine Tea's dad is Pine Tea Jr. I guess this makes him Pine Tea, then. Oh, what? Who are you? Wow! Wow, did you come here just to save me? Really? Pine Tea Jr.? Wow, good. I have to get back alive. Show me the way out. Now, I think theoretically you could take him down to the end of the dungeon, but that would be a jerk thing to do. So we're just going to move on till floor 20. Yeah. Easy battle. And I think 420 is probably the one right below here. So this was not difficult at all, especially at this level. And like I said, there are people who have attempted to do the Pit of 100 trials, like, before even defeating Hooktail. I think that's ballistic. That's crazy. I would never dream of doing that. But, some people apparently can. I guess they have perfect super guards. Fire Drive, that's a great badge, just not one that I ever remember to use. Obviously great against icy foes and the like, and people who are susceptible to fire. So now the Thunder Rage is more expensive. It was 40 previously, now it's 60. But I figured it would still be worth buying because we're not really spending too much money on anything else. One thing that I forgot to mention is that there's an NPC. I only do this the first time I played the game, who hangs out at the very front of Rogueport, on the right-hand side, like where you came in to visit Rogueport for the first time. He's a rat, and if you invest in his little project, like paying him like 100 coins each time, eventually he'll pay you off by filling up your entire wallet. So you want to make sure that by the time that he's ready to pay you off, pay you for all your investments, that you have an empty wallet. But we're not actually going to be doing that because it seems like kind of a pointless waste of time. Much like getting the silver card for a minigame that we're not actually going to play. But I figured I'd at least show you that that's how you find it. And we'll see you next episode.